Hi, this is Jeff Lesher with the first What's the Point of 2020, and I couldn't be more excited to be back and at the beginning of the new year, which has inspired what I imagine are going to be the next 3 or 4 videos which have to do with the beginning of someone's experience with you and your organization, also known as the selection process. And in particular, we're going to feature 4 elements of the selection process. First of all, what is the right talent for your organization? Not A-plus talent, not some sort of generic idea that there is a one-size-fits-all good for everybody, because there's not. The second is, once you've determined the right talent, where do you find those people? And how might you raise your profile enough to attract them to have a conversation with you? Third, how do you vet that talent to make sure that you're right for them and they're right for you? It's a two-way process. It's not just you selecting, it's the candidate selecting. And the fourth, and probably the most important, is what do you do once those people come to work with you? How do you onboard them in a way that really seeks to set them up for success, not just over the near term, but the longer term, and in particular, merge them onto the highway of performance, not just have a 1 day or 1 week or even a couple of week process through which you show them where the bathroom is and make sure they have the logon credentials they need to use your systems. So those 4 areas are all important. And because this is the way I like to do things, we're going to jump to the third part and address part of the third part right now, which is in terms of vetting talent. How do you find out about how those people have dealt with challenge and adversity? And maybe even before that, why that's important. So here's a funny thing learned over the years of my experience. If I were to ask all of you, is there anybody out there who is hiring for a job that is not challenging, or in a technical way is an easy peasy job? And your answers would universally be, no, of course not. We have challenges every day. We need people who can come in and deal with the fastballs, the curveballs, all those things seamlessly in a way that not only protects our brand, but promotes our brand. Okay, so everybody's hiring for a job that's going to have a challenge. So would you ask somebody about a challenging situation? Well, maybe, maybe not. But even if I did ask them, I really don't want them to tell me the truth. I'm paraphrasing, but this is essentially what people say, because they should be only giving me the best impression in the course of the interview. And so therefore there's this huge blind spot of all the things that you don't know, can't see about them if you don't pursue that avenue. And then the last line of defense is, well, I asked that, but they tell me they've never had a challenging experience. Now, in that circumstance, one of 2 things is true. I'll just be very direct about this. Number 1, they're a liar. And my guess is that most of you, hopefully all of you, don't want to knowingly hire a liar into your organization. So that person is out. If they won't tell you, they're not telling you the truth. And if you believe that they're being truthful, then something else is true that also is problematic, which is they don't have enough experience, and they're going to learn how to deal with adversity on your dime and at the risk of your customers. And you need to ask yourself, is it worth it for me to do that if I've got other candidates who have in fact experienced and sort of lived through the baptism of fire that challenge necessarily provides? So now that I've got you thinking, I really need to know about this, and I'm going to ask about it, and I'm going to expect an answer about it, how do I ask? Well, here are a few ways that work very well. One is, just as you would say, tell me about a time when you did this thing, experienced this thing, etc. And we typically approach those from the good perspective. What's a great example of how you've applied creative problem solving, creatively redeployed technology, etc., in order to accomplish this outcome? Just flip it around. Tell me about a time when you attempted that and things did not go as planned. Tell me about an obstacle that was thrown into your path without warning. Tell me about the worst screw up that you've ever presided over. And ultimately, what did you learn about it and how have you applied those lessons moving forward? That's really what you want to know. So right there are 3 or 4 ways that you can and should be asking after these areas of someone's experience. When did things not go as planned? When did stuff hit the fan, etc.? And then have a conversation with people. You're not judging them. You're certainly not sort of holding yourself out as superior. We all have had challenges. And the issue is what we learn from them and how we apply those lessons. If you're not hiring for easy peasy jobs, if you are hiring for jobs that have challenge, find out how somebody has dealt with them. That's how you vet talent. This is an incredibly important issue, and if we want to really have the right talent for us, the best talent for us, we need to know how they've come to be the best and how they're likely to apply those lessons moving forward. We want the best, that's the point. The way to get there is to ask them about stuff that really matters, and that includes and probably is especially about how they've dealt with challenge. So that's chapter 1. We'll go into other elements of selection. If you've got a particular area of selection you want me to address, please reach out and let me know, and I'll bake that into an upcoming video. Let's have a great year ahead and start by asking people questions about things that really matter. Listen to the answer, have a conversation about it, and then make up your mind as far as what to do next. Be good.